All right, we are live with the Week 12 PKFL podcast. And with me tonight, I have the honor of and the privilege to be with the owner of My Mighty Munchkins. Adam, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Week 12 already. I can't believe it.
I know, my God. Nuts.
I love football so much, and now I'm scared that it's going to go away pretty soon. But
It's almost over.
I know. So it's good to have you on. Your team has been rocking and rolling. We haven't done as many podcasts as we have done in the past. You probably haven't gotten the due you deserve. So I'm glad you're on tonight.
Oh, thank you. It's all good. No, happy to be here.
So I guess we could start. I don't know where to start exactly. I definitely didn't prep here, but I mean, if we look at the, or if there's any topics that you heard on the last pod or anything else, just shout those out. And we'll talk about those as well. But if we look at the records right now in the playoff race, right now, who's the 6th seed right now? Stash is still the 6th seed. I did bring up a topic last pod, and I brought it up when we were playing poker, and I thought your take was actually interesting because you were kind of the person why I was bringing up the take, and that was I think we should do away with the divisions.
Right.
And I was using your team as the example at 9-2, and right now you would be the 4 seed and have to play Schwab, who's a really good team, and he's the 5th seed. So maybe let me expand on what you were kind of telling me at poker on why you think we should keep the divisions.
Well, I mean, I'm open on it, to be honest, and I've been thinking about it some more. And so, my first thought is, if you look at the standings, right, there's in each of the 3 divisions, there's a tie for first, right? Have you seen that? And
yeah.
So that makes it that makes it kind of interesting just from that standpoint, right? And then I did think, like, if I think about, the NFL, that you get rivalries over a period of time, and I'm not sure we really have that per se in our league. So that may or may not apply. So I just kind of liked it from that perspective, and that's where I was coming from. But I'm on the fence now, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I don't know that you'll be
yeah, because again, my point is
the reason. I'll share it. I forgot about something, but do you want me to keep going, or you want
to keep going?
So I remember back when we were talking about the Beckham deal, right? And I talked to a number of folks, right? And ultimately, I don't want you to misunderstand. Ultimately, I did make the trade with the person I thought I was getting the most value. But there was a moment while we were negotiating, I'm like, I play Dave twice every year. Do I really want to trade this person to him? And then I ultimately got a better offer anyway, and I forgot about it since then. And so, in any event, folks were talking about shuffling the deck or getting rid of the divisions. I'm actually leaning more toward just getting rid of it at this point. I mean, it wasn't my record that really is the driver, to be truthful, though.
Yeah, and the fact that, I mean, we have had the divisions for a few years now, so in the end there are maybe some built-in rivalries, and we could always speak former members of the Marist division, like if we're talking about a matchup between YEM and the Sharks or something. But I just want the best teams to make the playoffs. I don't want team to like sneak in with there's going to be potentially a below 500 division winner, and it might not be the best way. And again, it might only affect seeding, but seeding to me is pretty important. I mean, you fought really hard, and for you to not get a bye, I mean, and you still may. We have to face each other. If we both win this week, it's all going to basically come down to next week, our matchup. So, and then I would drop from 1 to 4. So, I mean,
I think if I win and you lose, it still comes down to playing, because if I won next week and you lost, we'd have the same record. But sorry, I think I said that backwards. Ultimately, I think I think I have to win this week and next, and I'm not sure that's true for you. I think you can lose this week and win next.
Well, now you got me. Now I got to think about it. So we're tied right now.
Like if you lost today, I'm getting it backwards, so my apologies. But I think if you lose this week, I have to win next week, or I can't win.
No, I don't think that's true. So if I lose this week and you win, you'll be a game up. You'll be in first, and then no, because then if
you beat me, we'll have the same record, and you'll have beaten me twice.
You're right. Yeah. So I guess at this point,
I have to win both. I think I have to win both to get it. I think.
I didn't think about that. I was thinking it all came down to our matchup. So that's an interesting wrinkle. I'll have to. I guess you're right because if you don't win next week, I beat you twice, and it's pretty much over.
Yeah. So we're either gonna have the. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you. That was a good summary. I really didn't think of that, but.
Now I am pleased to see that you've gone ahead and taken a 0 at the tight end spot for this week. Is that true?
Well,
I'm hoping you'll do that next week.
Not yet.
No.
I thought Ingram was going to play, so I picked Burkhead back up. But,
oh, all right.
But no, I'm not going to go up against.
No.
No.
A little too close without the tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I could beat Schwab this week without a tight end. So
he still may play too. I mean, he's got a couple more days.
So anyway, so that's interesting. So I'm glad to hear that maybe you've reversed it. It's definitely up for a vote, league vote. I've already heard some other dissenting opinions. I know Pat is really in favor of it. I think it's because he likes being in that weak division, but yeah, and they ebb and flow, right? It's not like the Maris is always bad. It's just the Big Ten has some powerhouse teams right now. I mean,
yeah, I mean, this is the very first time that my team's done well, right? So it's not like I have history behind it. So
but we have won 3 of the last 4 championships. So
no, I didn't realize that, but. By we, you mean you guys, because you're not me.
Yeah, the last it was Cody, me, and then Schwab 4 years ago. So
wow, damn.
So we have been putting up some numbers in the Big Ten.
That's pretty crazy.
So yeah, that was a good point you made on the standings. I actually don't know if I did notice that. So there is tie both in both other divisions.
Yeah, all 3.
I mean, the Stash got lucky last week. We'll probably go into how last week happened, but I won't go into that deep. They got a little lucky last week, beating Jonathan by a point. But yeah, so it's going to come down to the wire. These last 2 games are obviously critical. They're in division matchups. You have no one to blame but yourself. If you win out, if you're one of those two teams tied, if you win out, you're probably going to win your division. So, we'll kind of get into that in a second. So if we look back to last week, how about this before we go into that? How about any of the trade? Obviously, I'm always on here, so I get to give my opinions.
Right.
Disagree, agree on certain trades, like where I was giving maybe one team a favored vote. How about somebody? Did you make? Yeah, you made another trade that I probably commented on. Did you agree with my commentary or no?
Which one? The Aaron Jones trade?
Oh yeah. So let's start with that one where I thought Joe probably could have gotten more had he gone to the open market. So
I'm really not sure, and I don't know the level of conversation that he had with folks, right? I was just texting him and we were just chatting about stuff and ultimately, got into, trade discussions, which, happens. And, he needs a lot of pieces. So I could see that he could use a quarterback, and I could see that he needed help at, especially if he gave up Jones, he needed help at running back and even receiver. And so, I'm pretty high on both Allen and Marquise Brown. And I really like Marquise Brown, and I was eyeing him in the draft, and we could talk about that in a minute. But when we started going back and forth, I think ultimately he, I told him, I said, it's a lot like the Beckham trade that I made with Josh. Ultimately, it's hard to turn one guy into several pieces. It's not easy, but if you can do it, then you have more assets to work with. And I think your take was about Breeze and Bridgewater, and ultimately, I think I looked at the text again and I commented. I said, I just got to worry about my backup quarterback, because Watson was on bye week in the next couple of weeks after that. And he came back with, including Bridgewater and Breeze and Bridgewater or Mariota. And I was really only thinking about either one of them for one game, right? I was mainly focused on Aaron Jones. And I was like, well, if somehow Breeze didn't play, then I didn't want Mariota and I wanted Bridgewater. And so that's kind of how it went down. So I don't think that it was as lopsided as maybe you thought it was or think it was. I think it could turn out really well for Joe. It's still only a couple weeks for me. And, so anyway.
No, but yeah. And again, it wasn't – I think I made the point that I like the pieces that he got. But again, I had asked Joe about Aaron Jones like in week 6. And said I was interested. I started floating some offers, and he basically said, he's my cornerstone. I don't want to move him. He's the only good running back that I have. Well, I let it go. I never went back to him. And shame on me, I never circled back. But my point was, if he put him back out, and we keep telling people, if you're going to trade a stud, put him on the block and get everybody's offer. But again, I think it was a fair package. If it was just Jones, I think when he added Breeze in, I felt like it leaned it more towards your way. And again, hindsight's 2020. I mean, since the trade, Jones has been like one of the best backs in the league. I mean, he's taken his game up a notch even. So, kudos to you for making the offer and talking him.
Yeah, no,
and it wasn't like it was complete robbery. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, and I think you'd have to talk more to Joe about the pieces he included, but I think Joe ultimately was thinking, I'm getting Allen, I'm going to drop Breeze and possibly Bridgewater, right, to make room on the roster for the other two guys. I think. I looked at my text and I did say I needed to worry about the backup quarterback, and that's where he came back with it. So he's probably like, I may drop him anyway. Why not include it in the deal, right? Sometimes.
But again, I always put myself in that person's shoe. Breeze has some value, I think.
Yeah. Like even Cody last week said, what did he say? Aaron Jones got Corey Davis. So what is Breeze really going to get? Like, we'll see. I could put him on the block after the season and see if anyone wants to give something for him. I'm not optimistic.
But I'm saying you could get a second-round pick or something. Like, to just say you're going to drop Breeze, I mean, he's still a viable – he usually gets ranked in the top 10 every week of quarterbacks when their team's playing. So unless they have a really bad matchup and he's on the road. But he is old. I get that. It's dynasty. It doesn't really fit into Joe's plans, but
that's part of it too.
I don't like to give away something for nothing. It's kind of my point. Anyway, enough on that. So last week there were some pretty big matchups that we had that came down to like I talked about the stash, so we'll kind of go into that one first. He beat the Nates 103.34 to 102, basically by a point. And Berto sent out a text during that Monday night game that he needed a big game out of, what's his name, Damian Williams and Kelsey. And then Williams went down like 5 minutes into the game. He's like, oh, that's over. And I'm like, it just means a bigger game for Kelsey. He's like, he's not going to get me that many points. And then I guess he went to sleep, and I sent him a text towards the end of the game. I'm like, I told you. And he didn't see it until the next day. He's like,
right.
It worked out well.
Yeah, 18.7 he got. I'm just looking at it now.
Yeah. So he got just enough basically to go over
Yep.
Jonathan. And again, that's a huge thing because if he lost that game, he wouldn't be in a tie with Minor right now, and he'd be in a little bit more of an uphill battle,
Right.
trying to get that playoff or that division in the top 3 seed.
Right. Yep. No, I mean that was a close matchup, and he squeaked out a win. Anytime you get a win, it's a good thing in this league. So, I lost to Berto by a few points earlier in the year, and that's
Yeah.
what it takes sometimes.
Yeah. So what are the other So what's another matchup that had some implications here? Oh, the other big one was the YEM against Stiff Arm. And YEM pulled out that one 132 to 118. That was again a big one because now he's leapfrogged him, and now he's in the first place seat in the Maris division. So pretty big matchup there, pretty big win for YEM. He now controls his own destiny. I'm not sure. That must mean he must play the Sharks or JR this week. I have to look at the schedule, but
Right.
But obviously a big win there. I mean, he had some big performances. Cobb put up 22, which I found surprising, but that was pretty big score for him. And
Ickler was the big scorer for the Chargers
yep,
backfield. I mean, you guys talk about each week how he ends up playing both of those guys, and both of those guys end up scoring well pretty consistently.
yeah, they have different roles in that offense, so it kind of works out. I don't know if I would want that long term, but I don't think they're both like I don't know if they sign Gordon again, right? Like now he came back, he held out, he came back. Like, are they really going to give him that big money again, or is he just going to go out to the open market and go somewhere else? And that could end up really helping Pat. So
yeah, and he'd probably try and make some moves in the off season to help clear up that situation on his roster as well.
Yeah,
I would think.
Absolutely. And then Stiff Arm, I mean, to me, it's been smoke and mirrors a little bit with them, but they do have a good team. We kind of talked about it last week. I mean, Godwin, Murray, Jacobs,
Lockett
was on bye. Yeah, that's right. Lockett right there. So, yeah, he's got some good pieces. I still think, again, I still think to be at the cream of the crop of this league, you have to have bench and you have to have depth because injuries happen. I think you're going through one right now. We'll probably go into that when we get into your team, but you got to have depth to be able to fill in. Otherwise, I mean, these other teams that have depth and have solid teams are just going to be able to outscore you in the end.
Yeah, and I think he's got Murray on bye week this week, right? Week 12.
Let's see. Let's take a quick look. Week 12. He's playing the Sharks, and the Sharks are no slouch. We'll go into his team. I told him I don't know how Josh is only 3-8.
I know. I agree. I agree, actually.
So Kyler Murray is on bye. So who is his? Oh, he has Trubisky. Oof.
Yeah.
So you're telling me this team couldn't have used Breeze?
I hear you. I don't know.
I just popped onto a team that you're telling me if Joe went to him and said, "I'll give you Breeze for a second round pick," even, and maybe that's too little of it. I don't know, but with Trubisky and Murray, I mean, I'd probably bite on that and say, yeah, especially this week. I mean, I think Trubisky stinks. I don't think he's a good NFL quarterback.
As a Giants fan, I sure hope that they shut him down. Except for Allen Robinson, who I need to play this week, so I'd love to see a good week out of him. But yeah, overall, I agree. He's been cold this year overall, for sure.
Yeah. So let's see here. So let's talk about what was the other game I wanted to hit on. So yeah, you kind of Schwab had a down week. Easy Money had a down week last week. Who was the culprit there? Did he have a lot of buys or? I know you
He
had a lot
had
of
Wilson on bye. He had Wilson on bye and played Winston.
Yeah, I mean Winston put up 21 points though. So
21.
Connor getting hurt early in that game, that killed him.
Say that.
And then Cooper, I don't know if he was nursing that injury still, but he only put up 5.
Yep.
He did get Samuel on that trade, which I did like, but he only put up 4.5. So he just didn't have a good week. I mean, you're not beating anyone in this league pretty much with an 84. So, and I'm sure you were happy. It was probably one of your lowest scoring weeks, 116, and you won probably without even sweating pretty much. So,
yeah, well, I mean, Watson put up 5 points. I wouldn't have guessed that. I had Breeze in there. I was going to play Breeze.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up because I think I talked to you in poker and said I would start Watson.
The week I played Breeze, I think Breeze got about 5 points. That was when Watson was out on bye, right? I played Watson against the Ravens, which didn't feel right. And then, not that you guys sway me, but a few of you guys were like, well, you got to play the stud over. And I hem and hawed, and I'm like, screw it. I'm going to put Watson in. And I got lucky that,
that could have been a difference, right? If you were playing, I mean, you would have lost to 5 other teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And Breeze put up 21, I mean.
Yeah, and then you probably wouldn't have lost anyway. You would have been fighting me for the high score or close to the high score. So,
yep.
Hold on. I got something going on with my TV here. What the heck is going on here? All right, sorry. So yeah, I mean, you got a little lucky there, but hey, luck comes into fantasy all the time. So, since we're on your team, we might as well talk about it. I mean, we were talking about your depth. I mean, the fact that you got the win with Jones and Henry on bye. I mean, and Hooper hurt. That's pretty impressive. I mean, he's been a breakout, obviously, right? He was the #1 tight end before he got hurt. I'm not sure I would have predicted at the beginning of the season. I knew he was pretty good, and he was young, so
I would say you would not have predicted it because you guys were all over in one of your early podcasts about Hooper. I can't believe Hooper, and I'm saying it up until a week or so ago, it looked pretty good. It worked out well. I'm hoping he comes back soon, but you never know. But
yeah, but you picked up Olsen. I mean, he's not a world beater, but he'll put up 7 to 15 points, 7 to 12 points every week.
Yeah.
And with your other guys, that's kind of what you need from that position. I mean, it's not like many guys have a stud tight end, right? I mean, there's a few, and then it's pray and hope, kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually just put in what's his name? I'm blanking now. I'm too tired. Sorry, man.
You picked someone up this week, didn't you? Or did you pick up a tight end? I thought, or let me say, you picked up someone. You're right.
Oh, because I'm looking at last week's scores and I'm not seeing the guy.
Yeah, CBS site is getting funky here.
Yeah, sorry.
Who the heck did you pick up? Oh, Vance McDonald.
Yeah. So I picked him up just because I felt a little worried that maybe Hooper would be out for a bit, and I'm not comfortable with Olsen, and I mean I'm not comfortable with him the whole way. If I have to do with him the whole way, so I just thought I had 2 defenses, I had 2 kickers. So I'm like, this is silly. So,
well, Watson's starting to have a big game tonight, so you should feel good about that.
He was off to a slow start before,
but yeah, and plus your Vance McDonald pickup is a good one to block me because it looks like I'm going to need a tight end, and now I can't use Vance McDonald. So,
yep. So my big news of the week was that Mac broke his hand.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get back to.
That's not good. But
But are they saying it's going to? Why did I hear he can potentially come back in week 13?
I haven't heard that, but with the right type of cast or brace, I mean, they don't really throw it to him all that much. And if he just can hold it without dropping the ball, I kind of wondered the same thing. So I hope that's true, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how a running back can play, but what would he have to have? A cast? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I think he's got to be able to hold the ball, right?
You would think, yeah.
Way. And I don't know, not be in total agony every time someone brushes up against it. So I don't know, but
yeah, I have to say I'll have to hope that he's coming back in week 14 and not week 13.
Now I was lucky though, and I got Williams. I don't know if he's going to pan out. I didn't put him in tonight because I wanted to see him.
He got 5.5 points in the first half. So
yeah, and he's got he had 12 carries before, and I looked away, obviously while we were doing this. So I don't know. It seemed like just in the event Mac is out a little bit longer, maybe this gives me a little bit of depth, right? So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, so I was trying to think back on the chronological building of your team because it really is good. I mean, you've had Watson, you've had McCaffrey, you had Henry, right? Those three were already on your team.
Yeah.
You had Robinson as well?
No. So Robinson was part of the Beckham deal.
Okay.
Right? So I traded Beckham for Robinson and Mac, and I got 2 first-round picks, and I gave Watson almost threw another interception. And I gave Josh back a second.
Wow, that's a nice haul, especially when you see what wow, your TV is like 5 seconds ahead of me.
I won't spoil things.
When you see what he just got for Beckham, I mean, and I hear that, I'm like, you could see that he lost value just because he hasn't had a great season. But I mean, I don't know how Beckham could have lost that much talent. I think it all comes down to Mayfield not being maybe as good as everyone thought he was.
That's what I think it is. That's really what I think it is.
It's not like Beckham lost speed, forgot how to catch the ball, and
he's a crazy good athlete. He's a good athlete. He's gonna rebound fast, in my opinion. But when I did that deal, so it goes to right. How do you take one player and turn him into, more, right?
Yeah.
So when that one came around, I actually have to go back and look. I don't know. I don't remember what my team was before this year because it's changed a lot. But I'm like, if I play Mac and Robinson every week, I think that's going to give me more points than Beckham and whatever I had to work with at the time, right?
Yeah.
And I'll have those picks to do something else with. And so that's where I'm like, it seems
that's where you value. And that's where you got guys like who the heck did you get in the draft? You got
so in the draft, I ended up trading with you. So my first pick, I got Singletary.
Yep.
Which I liked Singletary because I thought, while starting out as the third back, I didn't think Gore, and I still don't think Gore is going to be around much longer, but I've probably been saying that for several years now. Right?
No, I think this is going to finally be it.
Yeah, I think so too. And then McCoy, who ultimately got traded. So that was the first thing, and then with one of the picks, I traded a pick and carry on to what's his name, to Cody.
Yep.
For Mike Evans, because at the time I'm like, well, and I have to be honest, I was when I got Mac, I figured I was going to trade another running back. I didn't know which one. I knew it wasn't going to be McCaffrey, right? Right. But I'm like, I'm gonna try. I figured I would have to get somebody else, and so I made that trade, right? So that was one of the picks, and then trying to think, and then the other pick I had, I ultimately traded with you, the 1-7 pick, and at the time, so I ended up getting who did I got I traded him to Joe at this point. The guy from the Chiefs. I have to look at Joe's team.
Like a running back?
Yeah.
Darwin Thompson.
Yep. And so at the time, I was thinking, he was climbing up the projections. I thought maybe he, could be something, and he still might be something. But especially when they let McCoy go, I thought he might have a real chance. Or sorry, I'm saying that backwards. Up until McCoy joined the Chiefs, I'm getting my teams back.
Yeah.
Up until McCoy joined the Chiefs, I thought he would have may have had a shot. But then when McCoy joined the Chiefs, I'm like, maybe this isn't going to happen, or at least it's not going to happen this year. And that one worked out, in my opinion, for me because I actually wanted Marquise Brown. Like, I was hemming and hawing about the draft all summer, and you guys kind of alluded to, you thought, the talent wasn't that good in this draft, and that's where I was. I'm like, the talent's not that good in this draft, and I was, I was thinking about maybe I would get Harry, and Harry started to slip a little, and I'm like, if I take a gamble on with your deal, if I take a gamble on this, on Darwin Thompson, I think Marquise Brown or Metcalf, but I was thinking Marquise Brown would still be available, and he was. Now I've traded him to Joe at this point, and I think and hope that, for Joe, that he is good, but that's kind of where my head was at with that one. So
yeah, no, I think you've made some great moves, and we're finally getting to really talk about it, especially on the air. So, but yeah, your team is definitely solid. Yeah, you're definitely ready for a playoff and hopefully a championship run for you.
Would be nice.
What's that?
I said it would be nice.
Yeah. When did you join the league? I'm trying to remember.
I feel like it was about 5 years ago. It was when there was expansion teams. So I feel like it was about 5 years ago.
Yeah. This is year 5.
2015.
Yeah, because we were going back, because Josh and I were looking at, you've been putting up crazy amount of points. And we were going back to, like, what was the high score for a week, and then who had the high score for season. So I looked it up because the site actually has some pretty good historical things. If you ever want to look, you can't see them on the app, but if you go to the website, if you go to league and then history, it kind of gives you some pretty cool stats, like highest scoring team, lowest scoring, this, that.
I didn't know that.
And since expansion, I think I had the highest week at 211. And I think, so you've beaten that.
No, I got 211.
Or you got 211. So mine, I think, was very close to that, like 209.
Oh, okay.
The difference was there was no PPR back then.
Yeah.
And then, so we were trying to figure it out, because I also had the high back in 2015, the best team on paper, as Berto always said, that didn't win a championship. I had the highest score for the season too. And again, I didn't have PPR then. And I was trying to ask Josh on text. I'm like, how many points would what would be an estimate of how many points I would have, if you take 0.5, how many receptions would my team have had? Like, what's a normal team's number of receptions for a year?
I don't know.
It's got to be
like 70, 80 per person, if it's a good. I mean, you mostly stack running backs, right?
Yeah, but I had two good receivers. I'm trying to remember who the hell they were at that time.
Johnson,
But
Calvin.
even if it was combined between, and again, it's between the two receivers and the four running backs. It's not like they don't catch any catches.
Yeah.
It could have been like 200 receptions, so that would have been 100 more points added on top. So again,
yeah, I can see that.
they don't. The one thing they don't do is show all the stats and stuff.
Right.
I couldn't find it, so it's not like I can go back and calculate that.
Right.
But yeah, so you're on a historic pace scoring right now. So hopefully it doesn't happen in week 13, and hopefully it's not when I have to face you in the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you, week 2 didn't quite work out the way I was hoping. That's when last we played, and I think didn't you put up like 190 in that week or something?
I'm going to go back to it right now.
And I put up 87, which was the lowest point score of anybody that week, right?
Yeah, you put up 87. No, I only put up 131 that week. I did have a really high scoring week, but it wasn't that week.
Oh, it was the first week. It was the first week you had some 190 something week.
Yeah, 191.
So anyway, I had
191 the first week. Yeah,
I had 87 points. I don't think anyone was really hurt. Damn it! There's a touchdown for Williams. I totally should have played him.
He's been getting chunks of yardage.
Oh, sorry. Did you not see it when I said it? You're still.
No, I'm getting to see it now because I'm 5 seconds behind you.
But in any event, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought now.
Well, yeah, you scored 87 points, which is like.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I try not to look ahead on weeks, and I did see a couple matchups that I don't like. I think the Texans play New England next week. Like I don't spend a lot of time on following weeks. Try not to get ahead of things.
You don't want to get ahead of yourself. Exactly.
But I'm like, oh, that doesn't seem good. So,
I mean, in our spot where we're clinched in the playoffs, I start to look ahead now, but it's too late. You can't make trades anymore. There's really nothing on the waiver wire, so you pretty much have to go with your best team at this point.
Right.
I mean, but you have Breeze now, so if you don't like Watson's matchup, I mean, Breeze can score. I don't know who Breeze plays next week, but
yeah, I haven't looked at that.
But it's good that you have that option.
Yep.
For nothing.
Oh, come on.
I'm not gonna give up on that. All right. So we talked about that. Let's see. What's a good matchup this week? So Stat Minor. They're going for the first place in the Syracuse division. They play this week. Okay. Let's take a look at their matchup. There must be too many people on the CBS site because it's not loading.
No, it's slow. So real quick, while it was a break, I listened to I was watching the last podcast at work, and I'm in like this big war room conference room now. And I had gotten there. It was long night the night before, and I'm looking down at stuff. I had been listening and watching, and I look up, and all of a sudden, Cody is sideways. Remember that? And I just burst out laughing. Right? I'm like, what the hell is going on? That was the funniest thing. Everyone's looking at me in a conference room. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my
I wasn't
God.
paying attention either. I think I was looking down at my phone, and he was having connection troubles the entire time. So I looked back up, and yeah, he was sideways. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
That was classic. That was great.
All right. So right now that matchup, Stash is actually projected to win 117-104. I mean, we've talked about the projections, but let's see who he's got. So it's Miner's got Derek Carr. Berto's got Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan against Tampa. Oof, I like that.
Yeah.
But Derek Carr against my Jets. I kind of like that too. So I'm going to call that a push.
Yep.
Miner's got Kamara. Stash has Peterson. I'm going to give that one to Miner.
Yep.
And then in Miner's got Coleman. Stash has Sonny Michel or Michael, however you say his name. I'm going to give that one to Miner as well. I don't like Michael. I didn't like that deal. Jonathan was at. I didn't want any part of him for a first round pick. I keep hearing some stat that when Burkhead plays, he averages like 6.8 points a game. So it's
Right.
too much of a shared and muddy backfield for me.
Yeah. I ask about most of the guys that people put on the block, and I asked about Michael as well, and I think he wanted a first and a second, and I thought for me that was too much. I think Berto got him a little bit less than that. It was a first and a third and a piece, and I don't remember what that piece was at this point.
Yeah, I can't keep track of all the trades either.
But I think Berto needed him.
Well, Berto needs running back. I mean, he's got Peterson as one of his backs. I mean, and he's starting Lat Murray in his flex. So, I mean, he's hurting. And this is probably the weakest running back core. I mean, he does have Freeman hurt, which isn't helping him. And Damian Williams is on bye this week. So that hurts, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
But if we keep going down, Minor has Metcalf. Berto has Julio. I'm going to have to give it to Julio. Then we got some battle of some unknowns. Devontae Parker against Slayton.
That could go either way.
That could go either way. Brait against Waller. I mean, Waller started the season great, but he hasn't been good the last few weeks.
Yeah.
That's right. Kelsey's on a bye, so that's why
and Waller's the one guy that I actually tried to get him early in the season from Berto. It's the one guy I regret not drafting because I took someone I shouldn't have taken, and I should have gone after Waller, but didn't. But so I like that. I like him. I think he could have a really good game this week.
Yeah, and I knocked on Berto's door for Waller, but his thought process or his value of Waller is way higher than I was willing to pay, so we couldn't come to a deal. My God, Watson just keeps throwing bombs.
Fuller right there.
Yeah. And then he's got Jack Doyle against Demaryius Thomas. I mean, God damn, this is a weird matchup these guys have here. They're playing a lot of scrubs.
Well, he's playing. Minor's playing two tight ends, a second tight end in the flex.
Yeah, he's got David Johnson on bye, and David Johnson just looks awful.
Yeah.
My God, I've never seen a guy fall from grace this fast. But
and he got screwed a little bit with Drake being traded to the Cardinals.
He's got all three, right? Doesn't he have Edmonds? Yeah, he's got Edmonds too. So, I mean, yeah, that wasn't good for his value. I mean, now he all of those guys took a hit basically.
Yep.
You got to be kidding me. Fuller's already pulled his hammy again. I mean, this guy can't stay on the field. So, yeah, these guys are suffering with some pretty big guys on bye. Berto's got Kelsey, Damian Williams on bye, Diggs on bye, Freeman hurt. I mean, he's got some troubles there.
Yep.
And Minor's got Johnson on bye. Who else is there? Drake, obviously. So, yeah, this is going to be they're going to need somebody to kind of blow up to kind of secure the win here.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be if you throw up some ones or some twos, you're probably going to lose on this matchup. So,
yeah, it could happen. It could certainly happen. It's hard to predict here.
Looking at it for me though, I'm going to take Minor if I'm making a prediction on this week, even though CBS is projecting Stash to win.
Right.
All right. What's the next matchup?
No, I think I'd take Stash in this one.
Okay, I like it. Battle of some low seeds. Well, how about we look at Nate's versus Soldiers? So we kind of talked about Joe the trade, but let's take a look at his team a little deeper here. So he's got Josh Allen, Singletary, and Brown right in his lineup. So I like to see that.
Yep.
Guys he traded for.
Yep.
Miles Sanders, I mean, he's on the uptick, I think. Unfortunately, that Eagle backfield, they love to play more than one guy. I think if he got 20 carries, he'd be a top 10, top 15 guy.
Yeah. Isn't Howard out this week?
Howard's out, but, I mean, they were playing like Kenyon Barner, and they love to – for some reason, they don't want to give this guy 20 touches. I don't know why. And who's the other guy? Don't they have someone else? I'm drawing a blank, but
They had Sproles who got hurt.
Yeah, I can't think of who it was. It'll come to me. Anyway, so he's got him, and then he's got Tyler Boyd, who I think is pretty good, but once they bench Dalton, he has no value left anymore.
Yeah.
But that doesn't bother Joe this year anyway. So he did.
Boyd was doing well at the beginning of the season.
Say that again.
Boyd was doing well at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, with Dalton, with a legitimate quarterback. Yeah, he's not bad. Let's see here. Royce Freeman, again, with Lindsey there, he only gets half the cut. I think Freeman's good, but
yeah,
Lindsey, every time he's on the field, he plays pretty well. He looks pretty good to me. And let's see here. The Nates obviously aren't. They're trying to go into rebuild mode. So he's got Sam Darnold starting over Rodgers. So I guess I can't call that a tank, but what was your? Actually, you were the one that I think alerted me potentially to the tank 2 weeks ago or whenever it was, with the tight end fiasco. Do you want to give any commentary on that, or?
Yeah, so it's one. I thought what I wasn't comfortable with, and it wasn't like, and I think you said it best in the last podcast. No rules were broken, but I wasn't comfortable with, these teams want the higher draft picks, right? And what I wasn't comfortable with is there was a WhatsApp exchange Sunday night where we said that he would get the highest points of a tight end. That ended up being 17.4 for Kyle Rudolph. And so, none of us know before a game how many points one of our guys is going to get. And 17.4 for a tight end is just a ton in most cases.
Yeah.
So the decision was made to, bench him, right? And ultimately went with a third string tight end in his place.
Yep.
Essentially had the win, made a decision, and got the loss. And I'm not saying a rule was broken in any way. I'm just saying that I don't feel comfortable with it. And I'd like to participate in changing the rule so that you can't benefit from your own mishaps when it comes to your lineup, right? And the other mishap that I think was on the lineup, was stiff arm, right? And so stiff arm, if you think about it, he forgot to put a kicker in. It was week 1 when Badgley was hurt. He was awarded the win because he got the highest number of points per kicker. At the time, folks thought that, it was the tanking rule, right? But he hasn't been tanking. He's been winning. And so we awarded him a win. We took one away from Josh. I think it's doing the opposite. There's a reward for people who are making accidental, invalid roster lineup.
Not managing their team.
Yeah. And I'm not, and so I think we got to do something about that, right? I don't have it.
I agree. I think the rule needs to be rewritten in a way that doesn't allow you to benefit from a mistake.
Right. If you have
or go against the intention of the rule.
Right.
Picking up a third string tight end is not, in my mind, fulfilling the quota of what we're saying in the rule, even as it is written. Well, it's not specifically says you can't do it. It's breaking the rule. It's breaking the intention of the rule, right? You're supposed to start a team to do the best that it can do. By starting a third string tight end on a team, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Nothing can get rewritten without full league approval. We'll rewrite it, but it's going to have to get ratified. So nothing's going to get snuck through or anything like that. But we have this rule in place because we know how valuable these picks are. And it could work both ways. The stiff arm example that you gave, I wasn't even thinking about that. But like Josh could be 4-7 right now, and that would take away a win from stiff arm, and he would only be 5-6. And again, maybe it would have changed Josh's season because it was week 1. Maybe Josh wouldn't have wanted to lose as much, So
here's how some of that played out, right? I mean, it touched my team a little bit. So and things are good for my team. I'm not saying otherwise, but that was in week 1. Josh ultimately got the loss, and come week 3, Josh was 1-2. Had Josh been 2-1, Barkley went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
He picked up Jones on the waiver wire. He bypassed Gallman, who in week 4 had a sick week, 20-something points. It turns out in week 4, I played Berto, who somehow was lucky enough to pick up Gallman, and he beat me. Now,
you're right. It really does have a trickle down effect.
Right? So now it's my own fault. I didn't play Hooper. I played Olsen because I had just gotten him. It seemed like a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. And then I'm like, God, I knew I should have played Hooper. But at the end of the day, I think if Berto doesn't have Gallman, if anyone who took him, I don't know that he would have won that game. So everything has a little bit of a ripple effect, right? And
you're right.
If you accidentally make your own roster decision, I don't know, you can't be rewarded for that.
Yeah. And again,
it might be the thing that helps him get into playoffs this year when we see how everything
pans. It could be. He's tied for first in the division. Right? So I mean, and you're right.
It is the rule. Again, no rules are broken. I just think we gotta fix, polish them up a little bit.
No, I think you said it well. You cannot, and we should write that wording in there. You can't benefit from non-action or a mistake action of some sort. So,
I don't know how to word this exactly that it would make sense, but it's almost like when you have that illegal type of thing, that game doesn't yet count for you as a win or a loss, and we wait and see how you do. If you're a good team, you're going to get a loss. If you're a bad team, you're going to get a win, or at least in terms of your order when it comes to the draft. Maybe that's a better way to do it. Again, I don't have it worked out, but
because you can't take, because that definitely would have a ripple effect, but it could change you from getting the first pick to maybe you're only getting the third pick, right? So. Yeah, we'll have to put some thought into it.
I don't have it worked out.
Yeah.
I don't have it worked out.
It's not going to be easy to do because we're not going to think of every scenario that can possibly happen. But again, a lot of it is the intention of the rule is to try to win every week. Whether it benefits your team or not, you're supposed to try to win, put your best team on the field every week.
Except when you play me week 13, you should go without.
I'll try to take it easy on you. I'll make some.
Just like you're going to do this week, you're not going to play a tight end. I think that is a good strategy for you.
I don't know if I'm going to stick with that. So in this game, this matchup of two teams that definitely probably want to lose at this point. Again, this site is killing me.
Soldiers and Nates.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a low scoring, even for the projections, which I think stink. It's saying 99-89. Nate's are win.
This could go either way.
I mean, Ballage is a pile of garbage. I don't like him. Beckham, I do think, is going to have a bounce back week. Hopkins, I don't know his total score, but I know he's.
I'm just seeing a pulse on him. Like, is he hurt?
Who?
Beckham. Oh, limited practice today. Yeah.
He does finally have Kittle in his lineup, which I like. DJ Moore. So he's starting a good team. I mean,
Yeah.
I think normally you would put Rodgers over Darnold, but I can't question that. That's a close enough call that you let the guy make his decision. So
Yeah, Oakland is a good matchup in that spot too. I mean,
I probably agree.
Fran tough for Rodgers.
So yeah, I'm going to agree with the site and call this one the Nates getting the win here, which they're not going to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could go either way. Like it's not like. I mean, he needs Beckham and Hopkins to do very well, and Kittle to play. Kittle might play. I mean, he's still a game time decision, but yeah, that's what I'm going with my call on this one.
This one I think could be a really close one, and it's hard to say.
I know, but you got to say when you're on the podcast, you got to make it.
I think the Nates are going to take this one.
All right. Trust me, I got to make these picks every time we're on the pod. So.
Hopkins is having a good game so far. It's 1 quarter left.
All right, so we talked about the stiff arm Sharks matchup from week 1, and they're playing this week. So let's take a look at them now. All right, so my God, it's the battle of the awful quarterbacks. Haskins against Trubisky. My God. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't blame. I mean, he could put in Daniel Jones, but obviously, again, winning is not in Josh's best interest, probably either at this point. I mean, he does have the backs, Fournette, Chubb, and Barkley in there, so I mean, he's not tanking. Still got those 3 studs in there.
I think the Sharks are going to win this one.
Yeah, let me take a look here. So Jacobs has been good, but
he may not play, right?
I don't know. He is questionable, but he was questionable last week and played. I love the Godwin Lockett receiver there. I think he's got the Sharks on the stiff arms better at receiver.
Well, no, isn't Lockett out, or is he going to play?
No, I think he's trending to play.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure. And then obviously in the flex, you got Barkley somehow in the flex. So Barkley, Scarborough, I like more than Gallup, Gabriel. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Sharks in a close one.
When you say Gallup, because stiff arm hasn't done his roster yet.
Why? What? I see Gallup in his.
I know, but he's got Murray still in there, who's on bye, and he's got Hardman in there. He hasn't done it yet. He's got 3 guys with zeros on bye.
I'm looking at it right now, and he's made the changes already.
Oh shit! Let me refresh.
At least on the app, I'm looking at it on my phone on the app.
No, that's.
You still see it the other way?
I'm pulling it up. Nope, it's changed. You're right.
I did see while we were talking, he made a move. He picked up a kicker while we were talking, so probably just set his lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is projected to get only 103, and I do agree with the site. I mean, I never agree with their projections, but I do think the Sharks are going to pull this one out in a squeaker. And again, I don't think it's in Josh's what he wants necessarily, but again, I don't know how the hell Josh is 3-8. I have no idea.
No. Well, I said the same thing about the Nates too, because when I was in discussion with Jonathan about Michael, like it was I don't know, I thought he still had a shot at the playoffs at the time. You know, I can't believe where that team is either.
Yeah.
I could see these teams winning games, especially at the end of the year.
Oh, they could definitely be playing spoiler, right? I mean, we just talked about how there's 2 teams tied for the top on those divisions, and these guys aren't going to win it. They're not going to get in the playoffs, but they could hurt somebody's chances for sure.
Yep. The one thing I forgot to say about Joe's team when we were on it before, the Soldiers, is that he just got Cooks, and I think that's going to be a good fit for him for next year, if not for the end of this year.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. All right, so what other matchups do we have to hit here? Let's see here. How about YEM versus JR Rules? Let's take a look at that one. All right, Goff
This one
against
has
Mayfield.
playoff implications.
Yeah, this one again. JR is in the outside looking in. Could he still do it if he? What is his record? I got to go back to the standings.
If he wins both, then
He'd be 7-6. So if he wins this week, he'd be 6-6, and so would YEM.
if he could win the division still.
Yeah, because if the Sharks beat my Stiff Arm, like we just both said, they'd be 6-6. If JR beats YEM this week, they all three of them would be 6-6 at the top of the division, and then it would come down to the last week matchups, which I don't have in front of me, but I guess it would have to be. Who the hell would it have to be? It would have to be YER. I don't know. I'd have to look at the.
No, I got to look at who's playing who. I'm wondering if two of them can end at 7-6.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Where the hell does it?
Oh, Hopkins got a touchdown.
Wait, let me look because I could see it right now.
Oh, sorry.
I don't understand how I'm on a 5-second delay. I checked and my thing isn't like my DVR isn't behind. So, wow, Hopkins is having a huge game.
Yeah.
Oh, Watson, I guess.
Yeah, Watson. That was a nice one.
So wait, schedule. Oh, so the YEM gets a little. No, do they get a break? They have to face the Sharks in the last week. So that means Stiff Arm plays JR in the last week. So this one is.
Neither one of them get a break. I think, Josh, the Sharks with, Barkley and Fournette, Chubb. I mean, my view, neither one of them are getting a break the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
No, they're not getting a break. So if it goes the way actually we didn't predict that one yet, did we? But so we did predict the Sharks to win, and then I didn't look at the matchups for this game. So it was Goff against Mayfield. I actually think Mayfield is going to have a good week this week against Miami.
Goff has not been doing well.
Goff against Baltimore, I do not
Baltimore,
like at all. But he's got Cousins as his other quarterback on bye, so he really doesn't have a choice.
Right.
And then they both have mediocre running back. Mostert against Cohen. I don't like either one. I give the edge to YM. Obviously, he has Elliott and Samuels on the other side. I have like Crowder. Crowder's been playing well. Crowder and Ridley, I think I like more than Cobb and James Washington for YM. So this is going to be another nail biter, I think. YM does have Josh Gordon in his starting lineup, so he's putting his money where his mouth is on that one.
I think with Cook and well, he could play Prescott if he wanted, but with Cook on bye, I think that makes it all the much harder. And then with Juju,
not going to play, and Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he's definitely hitting. He's definitely hitting JR on a bad week.
Yeah,
with injuries and buys. I mean, Cook, Tyreek Hill, and Juju. I mean, Juju hasn't been great.
Yeah, Hill, and
he hasn't had Thielen in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
So I mean, he's been really hit by the injury bug. So yeah, this is good. I mean, it's not like Pat has a juggernaut team besides Elliott, in my opinion. But who am I going to pick here? I'm actually, I think I'm going to pick JR Rules in the upset.
I was going to go the other way.
I mean, the site actually has that as well, but I just think for some reason I have a feeling Mayfield and Odell are going to connect on at least one, if not 2 touchdowns this week. I don't know why. I just have that gut feeling. Well, you got to make a pick.
I think YEM is gonna take it.
Okay. Did we pick stash and minor, or did we look? I know I talked about that one earlier. That's a big game. That's the game of the week. Let's take a look at that one quick.
I mentioned I thought
Oh
stash.
yeah, we did pick that one. Okay. You're playing Jasshole. I mean, again, Jasshole has some good players, but I don't think he has the depth to take you down. I mean, any team that has Thomas and Adams, Ertz, I mean, they're pretty good, but I mean, you're like all-star team on the right side of my screen, at least on the app, and his team is just okay. So I'm gonna project you to win this, and project it to win pretty easily, especially with 18 that Watson's already put up with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
you are going to regret this not starting Jonathan Williams, I think, though. But at least you have him for the future. So
I'm happy with what I'm seeing from him tonight. If Mac continues to be out, although I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, and he's picking up chunks from what I've been watching. So it's not like he's picking up 1 yard here, 2 yards here. Every time I look up, he's getting 6 yards.
74 yards on the ground with a touchdown and 3 receptions for 17.
Yeah, that's a.
Ooh, we just got a helmet to helmet on that one. Oh, you're probably a few seconds behind. Take it easy. Is he hurt? No. Oh, I wonder.
Oh, that was glancing though. I think he'll be.
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right. All right, so I'm taking you in that one, and I think the last matchup is me. Another pretty big matchup. Me against Easy Money. You made me feel a little bit better that I just need to win. If I beat you next week, I'm fine. Because I was kind of scared that if I lost this week, I was thinking that does that mean next week doesn't matter? But it does. So let's take a look at this. I mean, it's projected to be pretty close. I guess when I put a tight end in there, it'll boost me up a little bit. I mean, two studs at quarterback, Russell Wilson against Jackson. I'm not going to give either of us the advantage there. I like my Carson Ingram combo better than Lindsey Mixon personally, but that's obviously my team, so I'm a little biased. I like his Cooper Edelman probably more than my Cup and Sutton. I mean, Cup, I don't know what the hell's going on. He didn't have any catches 2 weeks ago, and last week he didn't do much either. I do like Sutton. He's really developing well. I do need Ingram to friggin' get back on the field if I'm going to make any kind of run in the playoffs. So, and I personally like my Bell-Montgomery combination more than his Galladay-White. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I think I pick you to win this game for, a number of reasons. I mean, I think, Jackson's been putting up, crazy numbers. The Rams defense could be tough, but still.
I don't think he's solvable yet. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I don't see how he – I mean, it's like Vic back in his days of when he was going nuts.
I know, but you know what? He's running too much, I think. Like, he's got to be careful.
He scares. I almost don't like to watch their games because I'm afraid to see any hit that he's taking.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, Ingram, Carson. I mean, Kupp had what it could have just. I had Mike Evans who got a 0 1 week, like Kupp got your 0 last week. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Baltimore's a tough defense, so I don't know about that one, but it could go either way.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I really blame Goff because since week 6, Kupp has gotten 3.7, 8, 33.5, that crazy night, 0 and 7. So
right.
I mean, he's gotten four games below 8 points in that one monster game. So I mean, before that, he was in the mid-20s every week. So I mean, I just don't know what's going on with Goff. I just don't personally think he's that good.
I feel like the run game is off with the Rams too, right?
Yeah, Gurley doesn't look the same.
Right.
I think it really comes down to that offensive line stinks.
Yeah.
And you can't run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, you can't play action. And then you can't pass the ball. So it's all kind of linked.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, I think –
I never like to do it, but I am going to pick myself this week.
And I just say, with your team, Green is about to come back, right? Geis just came back. At the very beginning of the year, Luck retires, right?
Don't tell me about Big Ben goes down.
Roethlisberger gets hurt, and you're 9-2. You could be 11-2, right? I don't know anyone could, has that kind of depth, and all your guys look really good. So.
Yeah, when you consider that I was at the bottom of the league last year, I make a lot of moves though. You got to give me that I'm not afraid to make trades. I probably made the most trades of anyone in this league in the last 5 or 6 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so we kind of hit on all the games. Was there any other topics that you want to hit?
I can't think of anything, to be honest with you.
Oh, shoot. It's already 1 hour and 11 minutes, so I think we did enough. All right, Adam. Well, thank you so much for jumping on. It was a good time.
Thank you.
Entertaining podcast, I think. So good luck this week, and I hope to beat you next week.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
All right, take it easy.
Talk to you later.
Bye.